today? Oh, very quickly, y'all schedule on Wednesday, I think. Well, anyway, y'all are going to schedule soon during your world geography classes. The next math that you take is geometry. Huh? Anyway, just in case you're wondering, I don't know what math to take next. Right. You just pick, you want to, and make sure to put GT. I mean, they may know that or not, but you need to put GT on there.
For the next 3 years?
Just for next year.
They call my dad. He started freaking out.
Yeah, you get to, you'll have a math, a science, an English, a social studies, and then you can start your language next year, or you can wait until your junior year. All of y'all are in Spanish? Oh, at West Monroe they wouldn't let you start as a freshman. Okay, well then. Okay. We weren't allowed to start it as a freshman. But okay, so you can either start your language if you haven't started it. You can wait until your junior year. I do not recommend that because then not that y'all would, but if you fail like any part of it, you have to take it during the summer or you have to graduate later. Does that make sense? Have you already taken Spanish 1? Yeah, then you can take, you can do Spanish dual enrollment. If you, but to do any dual enrollment, you have to have taken the ACT and made an 18, I think. Anyway, I think that's what it is. Anyway, ask them about that tomorrow or whenever you go and schedule what you need on the ACT, just so that you know. Because one of my sophomores this year, he didn't know he had to take the ACT before he could do dual enrollment, and he signed up for it, and then at the beginning of the school year, well, it's too late to take your ACT at that point. Does that make sense? So if you need to take the ACT, take it in April. Yeah, you could have taken it this weekend or take it in June if you're wanting to do dual enrollment. If you haven't made, I think it's an 18. Anyway. Okay. So anyway, that's all for scheduling. Okay, so back to lesson 80. We are looking at direct and inverse variation as ratios. I think, Miranda, you asked about doing this earlier. I told you we'd get to it eventually. No, it's another way to do direct and inverse variation. I told you this was what we would get to, but you want to practice doing it the other way. All right, so when x varies directly as y, this is your proportion. x1 over x2 equals y1 over y2. What was the way that we have done those in the past? No, not using proportions.
Okay, it's A equals KB and A equals KB.
X varies directly as y. How do you write that? Yeah, K, constant, you can make it whatever. They usually use K for it. This is how we've done it in the past. We've solved for our K, and then we've plugged it back into our equation. You can also use proportions. x1 over x2 equals y1 over y2. It'll still give you the same answer. Whether you like one way or another better, if it tells you to use proportions or use direct variation, or if it tells you to do it both ways, practice it. Okay? There's a reason they tell you to do it one way and then the other. It's to get you to understand how to do both. Because was just setting up an equation. Yeah, proportions, ratios, same thing. Another one was making an actual equation. So we have a problem. A varies directly as B. How would we set up our proportions?
A over A over B.
Right? A over A equals B over B. You do need to put the 1 in the 2's so that you know which A you're talking about. When A is 50, B is 5. Find A when B is 7. Okay, what would I put here? Do you agree? Any questions on setting it up? Okay, so someone said A2 is 7. Oh, 70. Yeah. Do you agree with 70? Any questions there? Usually you'll have to cross multiply and divide. Any questions on how to use it, this method? Okay. Solve using proportions. Cost varies directly as the number purchased. If 12 can be purchased for $78, how much would 42 cost? This is also called the equal ratio method because you're setting up equal ratios instead of proportions. So sometimes it'll say solve it using the equal ratio method. It means using your proportions. Okay, that means it'll die. Whenever it actually dies, I'll change your batteries. What would I set up for my formula?
12 over 42.
No, my formula, before I go to that. What is our A1?
12.
Okay. And then equals, did you say P? Okay. N or P, either one. Does that make sense? So what is our first cost? 78. What is our second cost?
I did it backwards.
Does that make sense? And then what would be the other ratio? Do what? Do what? If you have 12 over 42 equals 78 over C2, that's fine. Yeah. If you have these two reversed, that's okay. Yeah, this is the amount, the money, the cost. 12 is the number, and then 42 is also a number. Number over number. Any other questions on setting it up? Okay, so what would be your second cost? Bigger or smaller than 78? Okay, what'd y'all get? Any questions there? Okay. It looks similar. What is different?
Way to cooperate, teamwork.
I think so. I think that would work. So Molly said that it's the inverse. The reciprocal, you take one of the fractions and you flip it. But only one of them, not both of them. So x1 over x2 equals y2 over y1. So we have a problem. Blues vary inversely as yellows. We have 100 blues with 2 yellows. How many blues with 10 yellows? Well, what would be our formula we would start with? Do you agree with that? Any questions on setting up the formula? Okay, what is our B1? Do we know our B2? Okay, do we know our Y2? What about our Y1? Do you agree?
Yes.
Again, not all of them will make it quite that easy. Yeah. 10 times 10 is 100. 2 times what is 2? 2 times 10 is 20. Any questions on this one? Okay. Looking at one more. The equal ratio method. Cost varies inversely as the number purchased. If 15 can be purchased for $2.25, how much would 42 cost? Yeah, you can get a decimal. I don't know if it's a decimal. You've all been wrong before, so.
Hey.
80.36.
Yeah.
All right, what formula would you set up for this? What is our C1? What is our C2? What is our N1? Yeah, 42 over 15. And then some people got a decimal. What did y'all get? Okay. That's fine. Yeah. As long as when you cross multiply, whoops, these two are cross multiplied and these two are cross multiplied, you're good. Any other questions? Okay. Well then, I've got your test.